The FA Cup.
A special day in the football calendar.
The best knockout competition in the world.
It's a special moment when you walk out.
On cup final day.
You wonder if it's going to be your day.
Passion.
A magic.
But when you win it,
it really doesn't get much better.
The game of your life.
Nothing better than scoring the winner. Unless you do it again.
Your place in history.
"100 years after they first met in the FA Cup, Manchester City and Stoke will take to the hallowed turf of Wembley Stadium and vie for the oldest living trophy in football. After the pounds flooded into the blue side of Manchester, the success is now trickling through. A spot in next year's Champions League will taste even sweeter with a piece of silverware to go with it. Till now, Stoke City's pride lay solely in its history, its longevity. Tonight, the Potters have the chance to live the dream of generation after generation before them. Today's winner stands tall above over 800 clubs and secures a place in football history. Manchester City Football Club takes on Stoke City in the FA Cup final of 2011, live on SBS 1 and in HD.
A rousing rendition of the traditional FA Cup final hymn, Abide With Me. That was Tenors Unlimited with the band of the Scots Guards. Great performance from them. What sort of performance are we going to get from the two cities of Manchester and Stoke? Roberto Mancini is in position to lead out his Sky Blues. Tony Pulis, the Stoke manager, will greet him and get ready to lead his Potters out onto the Wembley field. A magnificent occasion. Stuart Robson is alongside me to bring the action to you wherever you may be. And Stuart, we've already been struck by the extra level excitement about this year's Cup final.
The atmosphere around the ground, the atmosphere inside the ground has been absolutely electric. Both sets of supporters really want to win a trophy, and what a trophy to win. It's been an outstanding FA Cup season as well, and I think these two sides who have taken it really seriously deserve to be in the final.
It is the 130th FA Cup final. Stoke City new to this great occasion, the 55th different club to play in the final. They could be its 43rd winners. Manchester City have been there before, 4 times. But they haven't played in this particular final since 1981, beaten by Spurs, Ricky Villa and all that, in a wonderful replay. They haven't won the Cup since 1969, when Neil Young's goal beat Leicester City at the old Wembley. Manchester City have pointed to his passing in February after a long battle with cancer as one of the reasons why they have battled on to get to the Cup final, and that trophy is what it's all about. Will it have sky blue, all red ribbons on at the end of the day? It is one of the greatest occasions in world sport. The FA Cup final, the world's oldest football cup competition. Let's hope we get a game to match the magnificent build-up that we've enjoyed in a vintage FA Cup year.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chief guest today, Corporal Mark Ward, who will now be presented to the teams alongside
Tony Pulis greets the chairman of the FA, David Bernstein, on with a guest of honour, who today is Corporal Mark Ward, awarded the Military Cross for his work in Afghanistan. He is actually a Manchester City supporter, but he says it will be a great honour whichever captain he will be presenting the FA Cup to at the end of this exciting afternoon. From the Mercian Regiment, based at Catterick Garrison, you can see what a thrill it is for him to be here. Martin Atkinson, the referee, great honour for him as well. One of the Premier League's most respected officials. Does have a bit of history with Stoke this season. There was a pretty feisty game at Sunderland in November. Ryan Shawcross sent off in that. I'm sure Tony Pulis will remember that. He had some harsh words to say about Mr. Atkinson afterwards. Roberto Mancini. I'm sure most of these players need no introduction to David Bernstein, who is the former chairman of Manchester City as well as being the man at the top of the FA. I'm sure his allegiances will be slightly leaning towards the blue today. The City boss, who's looking to follow Gianluca Vialli and Carlo Ancelotti as Italian managers to have lifted England's FA Cup, goes back to his place at the head of the queue. Fans have been in great voice all morning, all the way into the afternoon. Now it's Stacey Solomon's turn again, because she's going to lead the singing of the national anthem. Something new for entire generations of supporters of these two clubs. Carlos Tevez, past fit to lead Manchester City today. First of all, leads his players down the line of Stoke players they'll be up against today. Let's take a look at the lineups named by Messrs Mancini and Pulis. We'll start with Manchester City, who make 4 changes from their last game. The win over Spurs in midweek that got them a place in the Champions League next season. Kolarov in for Zabaleta, Barry fit again to replace Milner, Tevez in for Dzeko, and perhaps surprisingly Mario Balotelli starts, preferred to Adam Johnson down the left-hand side.
Mancini has been criticised for using Yaya Toure as an attacking midfield player, but he's now the most dangerous runner with the ball in English football, as we saw in the semi-final against Manchester United. Combined with Silva's passing ability to find space, these two are key to City's attacking threat.
Here's the other City, Stoke. Just a couple of changes made by Tony Pulis to his Potter's team that were so impressive, beating Arsenal last Sunday. Thomas Sorensen back in goal for Asmir Begovic. He is the regular cup keeper. He's played in every FA Cup game this season. And Matty Etherington, past fit, he comes in for Dean Whitehead and will play on the wing for Stoke. Etherington, who has missed the last 2 games with a hamstring injury that he sustained against Wolves. Robert Huth also was a last-minute call, a knee injury last weekend, but he too has been given the green light to play.
John Walters is Stoke's key player. When Man City have possession, he will need to drop into midfield, and when Stoke have the ball, he must link up with Jones, both short of him and at times beyond him. If Walters plays well, Stoke could certainly upset Man City.
John Walters was one of the heroes of Stoke's 5-0 demolition of Bolton Wanderers in the semi-final. Scored the last 2 of those 5 goals. Martin Atkinson, all set for the biggest day of his working life so far. His assistants today will be Adam Watts and Simon Beck, and Lee Probert will be handling the board and the substitutions as the 4th official. Ryan Shawcross, captain of Stoke, former Manchester United junior, former, well, lifelong and current, I would imagine, Manchester United fan. The commemorative coin is ready. It looks as though Carlos Tevez has got the call. Just talking, Stuart, about that 5-0 win for Stoke against Bolton in the semi-final. Tony Pulis' team have often and very often unfairly been derided for their long throws and their set-piece game. None of those 5 goals by that method.
Well, they still get the ball forward early, but what they have got in attacking areas is a bit of creativity. They've got some good wing play as well, and John Walters, I talked about before, he's a very clever footballer, and Kenwyne Jones will cause problems. Not only can he win balls in the air, but he can also run in behind.
Well, they often say in any cup match, form goes out of the window. Both of these clubs are in pretty good form. Stoke 5 games unbeaten. That run began with their win over Bolton in the last round. Manchester City have won 4 of their last 5 in all competitions. Just wonder if they'll play with the shackles off now that they've got their place in the Champions League playoff to start with for next season. Their mission for this season is accomplished, but what those Sky Blue supporters really want is a trophy. And this is the one that they want. It's Sky Blue, it's red and white stripes, and it's John Walters straight away into the Manchester City penalty area. Well, he's dealt with by Kompany, and Joe Hart gets an early, pretty comfortable first feel of the ball.
Yeah, but a good header by Kenwyne Jones, or a good jump by Kenwyne Jones. Walters, what we were talking about, running beyond him, getting to the next knockdown. That was a worrying moment for Man City.
Carlos Tevez on the move, as he almost always is. Came back as a substitute against Spurs on Tuesday after missing 4 games, including the semi-final against Manchester United, with a hamstring problem. His fitness then, perhaps questionable. Etherington's and Huth's for Stoke, definitely. Robert Huth, I did read this week, has been having sugar injections in a bid to get fit over that knee injury sustained only 6 days ago.
Looking at you, I think you've had a few sugar injections as well.
Yeah, they were very beneficial as well. Carlos Tevez with the trick stuff, but too tight to the touchline for it to work.
Well, they will play with a lot of width, Stoke. Etherington down this left-hand side, Pennant down the right. They will cross over at times to get in-swing crosses in. key part of their play.
Manchester City's win in midweek was beneficial for Stoke too. It guarantees them a place in the Europa League this season, regardless of winning today or not. Stoke City in Europe, looking as though they'll finish in the top 10 of the Premier League. Now in the cup final. What a season it's been for the Potters. He'll have to be on guard here. Tevez has got it through to Balotelli. Flag has stayed down. Barry's attempted ball in blocked. And it's a corner to the Sky Blue City.
Good link-up play between Balotelli and Tevez. Quite sure that Balotelli will play out on that wide left-hand side. He'll come infield, rotating his position with Tevez.
Toure, more than a handful for any defender. Collar off in. Richards had to stoop. I don't think the corner quite worked as intended. Nearly turned into a good bad one.
There was a bit of blocking going off in the box as well, and Richards was first to it. It's a good opportunity.
He's checking Robert Huth's expression for grimaces. There's Company. He's been so outstanding for Manchester City at the back this season. Named in the PFA Team of the Year, Premier League Team of the Year. Nigel de Jong has won the Cup in his native Holland back in 2006 with Ajax. David Silva, Spanish Cup winner 2008 with Valencia. City have the more experience in terms of Cup finals anywhere. Julian Lescott, who was part of the Everton team beaten by Chelsea 2 years ago. Joe Hart away, but cut out easily by Mark Wilson.
Wilson just playing that ball forward. You will see Stoke play that long ball at times, more often than not. It's their defensive display that's got to be good. Up against the movement of Man City. Up against the skill and vision of David Silva.
With Hart from Company. Gets it away easily before Kenwyne Jones could arrive and pressurise him. Walters does really well against de Jong. De Jong wins round 2 though. Balotelli peeling away to the left over halfway. Here's Toure. Now it's Balotelli. Kolarov trying to go forward in front of him. Thought he was blocked off by Wilkinson, but doesn't make a great deal of it.
We'll see Wilkinson do a lot of that. Balotelli laid the ball off, had a little tussle with him. He's a very rugged defender, Wilkinson, the right back.
I'm right in saying he's the only supporter of either of these two sides playing today. Came off his heel there for Tevez. Tevez has gone for goal and forced the save from Sorensen. First shot of the game, and it was on target from Carlos Tevez. Now a Stoke break led by Etherington. Doesn't come to anything. First signs of the pace picking up at Wembley.
Big diagonal ball hit out, wasn't it? Hit Wilkinson on the heel. Gave Tevez a bit of a chance, coming infield on his right foot.
Wilkinson from Stone in Staffordshire. Stoke City supporter, born and bred. Toure. Barry. Kolarov. Toure has de Jong on hand. Tevez. And that's Wilson, who was under pressure and has been forced to slice it just out of play. It just went.
There's a poor bit of play from Tevez when the ball... This is the shot a little while ago. Just takes a deflection off Shawcross knee. Good save from Sorensen.
Can't get a game in the Premier League. The Denmark keeper, Asmir Begovic, is Stoke's chosen #1. And Sorensen has played now in all 7 of Stoke's FA Cup games this season. Tony Pulis has already seen things to take issue with his team.
It was just the nearest players to him that he wanted to have a go at. First it was Jermaine Pennant, then he went the other end to Shawcross.
Whilst we've got a bit of a lull, Stuart, I'll ask you what you make of Mario Balotelli's selection ahead of Adam Johnson.
Surprise, really. Adam Johnson is a good footballer. He can play on either side and go past people. Balotelli, I think, is more of a centre forward than a wide player, but I don't think he's going to stay there. I think Tevez and Balotelli will keep changing positions. They have great positional rotation, those front three. Balotelli, already, if there's one person that can wind him up, it will be Wilkinson. It doesn't take a lot to wind up Balotelli, but Wilkinson, and just leave his foot there, he'll just have a little grapple with it. They've all had a little row already.
11 games without a goal for the fiery young Italian. Just wonder if Mancini's basically got a hunch that the big stage will be his. Certainly talks as though it is already.
Not sure it's going to please Adam Johnson, though.
No, not at all. He's proven that he's a big stage player. Wilson's had a bit of a nervous start at left back for Stoke. That one put out of play for a Man City throw. Richards will take it. Tevez lays it off towards Silva, but it was short crosses to clear. Jones with a bit of a gripe towards the referee, felt he was bumped before the ball had got there.
I think he was as well. Tried to run forward and suddenly just knocked him to the ground.
Balotelli now. Manchester City with a ball over the top of the defenders. Kolarov, very much an attack-minded fullback. Robert Huth takes it away from keeper Sorensen. Toure, Balotelli, straight against Huth and Shawcross combined. Barry looks for Tevez. Manchester City get the corner. And it is the team in light blue that is just starting to flex its muscle.
In amongst all that, there was a really good clearance from Robert Huth. Got into a good position, defended it well. He didn't try and hit it too hard. He just got a lot of air on it, a lot of distance. Man City's positional rotation, movements causing Stoke problems.
All the way by Whelan. There's Tevez. Barry. Kolarov. David Silva on the move. Trying to tee up Nigel de Jong. And de Jong hits it. And hits it hard. But only into the Stoke supporters behind that goal.
It's actually a good play from Ryan Shawcross, the centre-half. He ran past a couple of midfield players to go and close de Jong down. But they're defending very deeply at the moment, Stoke. Watch when the ball gets played. There's Ryan Shawcross. He comes past a couple of players and gets out and just puts de Jong under a bit of pressure. Well, he's telling his midfield, you get out there and close the ball down.
150th Stoke City appearance for Ryan Shawcross. Scored against Roberto Mancini's men in the FA Cup last season. These teams met in the 5th round of last year's FA Cup competition. And Stoke won through 3-1 in a replay after extra time. And all of those who know about these things have been telling us all day long that this one is set for extra time today too. A long way to go before we get there. This is Kolarov, drove it in, and it was turned into the side netting by Shawcross, who must have had his heart in his mouth for a moment.
Well, he's in a good position, but again, Man City get Kolarov out. Pennant's having to go back this time. That's because Wilkinson's been taken in by Balotelli. He just sticks his leg out. It's a good position he's taken up. Both him and Huth are good defenders when the ball comes into the box.
A row going on between Walters and Balotelli, and it culminated in both of them falling to the floor. Watch this space. I say space, there's not a lot of it in that Stoke box. There's Toure, he's got plenty of space. What a drive from Yaya Toure. And his body language tells you that that was mighty close.
Well, Stoke are defending so good. They cleared the ball and just stayed in their box. And when it comes to Yaya Toure, takes a couple of touches, strikes it really well, always just going away from goal. Just cuts across it. Wasn't far though, was it?
Well, Thomas Sorensen wasn't getting that.
No, he was beaten by the pace of it.
Turned 28 yesterday, the Ivory Coast international. 3 goals in his last 7 games from midfield, including that semi-final match winner here against Manchester United. A famous goal it will be in Manchester City's history, especially if they can go on to win their first trophy since 1976 today. Stoke, well, the last time they won silverware, the only time they won significant silverware, 1972 in the League Cup.
At the moment, Stoke are struggling to get into the game. They're just trying to slow things down. Man City have taken control. About 70% of the possession. Now, first long throw. It might trouble a lot of teams. Will it trouble Man City?
It has done in the past. It's Rory Delap. Looking for Jones. Manchester City doubled up on him, Barry and Lescott. Cruncher from Glenn Whelan, who started his playing career at Manchester City. Couldn't get a look in for Kevin Keegan's team as it was then, just one substitute appearance.
I think that says a lot about Etherington's fitness then. He could have got that ball when it went in front of him. Didn't seem to make a good effort for it. Gave up on it very, very early. Big risk Tony Pulis has taken by playing Matty Etherington.
Otis loses the ball to De Jong. Silva came off Pennant. Now the chance for Kolarov to break forward. Just allowed Wilkinson enough of a sight. Perfectly timed and well-executed tackle. It's De Jong closing down now, and it's Stoke City's ball to throw back in.
He's a good tackler, Wilkinson. Yes, he might at times be rash, but that's a good one. Sliding in. Coaches that say you should never go to ground, I don't believe that. Sometimes you have to get that extra yards with the stretch you can get sliding along the ground. He's a very rugged player. Stoke need to get people around the knockdown. The last one, Barry won it in front of Jones. They didn't get anybody around the knockdown.
I know where it's going. Jermaine Pennant, though, saw the chance to nip in. The ball has stayed in. Richards with an unceremonial clearance. Etherington has to sprint here. He's got the throw in thanks to his efforts.
David Silva down this right-hand side, such a clever footballer. Great pass through the ball.
Not such a good pass that from Mark Wilson. De Jong, Balotelli with a neat layoff for Toure. Here goes Kolarov again. He spent more time in the Stoke half than his own, the left back. Now Balotelli's down in the centre, as though he ran into something, or vice versa.
Completely off the ball. Kolarov was just about to cross it.
Martin Atkinson brings play to a halt. Thomas Sorensen is just inquiring, well, kinda, as to the welfare of the Italian. What happened? It's Robert Huth, and I tell you what, he points out his elbow.
He certainly does. He just tries to, he lifts his elbow and just catches Balotelli. He's just outside the box. What's Huth doing that for? There it is, right across the face of Balotelli. Yes, Balotelli probably tries to make the most of the situation, but what's he doing, the number 4, Robert Huth?
It's needless, it's naughty, and if the referee had seen it, I think Robert Huth would be walking. Balotelli back to his feet. He was caught just looking towards the ball, didn't see it coming at all, and Robert Huth, the German international, took a huge risk there. It could have cost him and his team dear.
Obviously the assistant referee didn't see it. Nor the referee. Martin Atkinson actually let lots of things go so far, which I always think is a good thing.
I think Super Mario would agree with you right now.
Doesn't agree with too many things, does he?
Kevin Moran, Manchester United against Everton. Jose Antonio Reyes for Arsenal against Liverpool. 2 players sent off in FA Cup final history. We maybe should have had a third. There's Pennant. Tackled by Kolarov, foul, free kick Stoke.
Just going through the back of Pennant. Does he get the ball? No, he doesn't get the ball. I think Pennant again makes the most of the situation. Assistant referee reacts. Now they've got a chance to deliver the ball into the box. Man City have got to defend it well. Shawcross, Jones, Huth will be the targets. I always think this is a problem for Man City. They hold a very high line here, and there's so much space for Pennant to whip this ball in between Hart and the back 4 or 5 in that line.
That's what he's going to try to do. Look at the queue that's formed on the edge of the box. Pennant swings it in. Hart just watches it all the way into his gloves, unchallenged. Didn't quite get the bend on that, Jermaine Pennant.
Poor delivery. So was that from Joe Hart, but you can see what he's trying to do.
In a little bit too much of a hurry there, Hart, the England keeper. One more clean sheet will give him a club record 27 for the season. It'll beat that was set by Nicky Weaver, who was the Manchester City goalkeeper last time they were here, 1999. The last time they were here for a game that meant something significant for the club. Playoff final against Gillingham that got them out of the 3rd level of English football. Opposing manager that day, Tony Pulis. And his semi-final visit here with Stoke against Bolton was his first return to Wembley since that day. Couldn't bring himself ever to come and watch anything. Given away, and Etherington will gladly take it up and run at Richards. Wilson.
They just haven't got into the game, Stoke, so far. Etherington couldn't get past Richards, had to go back. They had to go back to Huth eventually, who just chipped it forward. De Jong's doing a very good job. He'll double up. Either Etherington or Pennant get on the ball. He'll double up with the fullbacks. De Jong, really good holding midfield player.
Etherington. Company had to improvise, got the better of Jones. De Jong has now lost it. Was crunching into Delap to get it back quickly enough. Toure. One for Tevez to chase, and he'll get onto it. Sorensen comes to meet him. Balotelli wants it. Barry and Silva arriving too. It's Balotelli, it's Barry, and it was Robert Huth for Stoke. Tevez pushed off the ball by Pennant. Lovely bit of skill from Pennant to get past Kolarov. Now Stoke's turn to get on with it. John Walters moving forward. The game's opening up at Wembley.
What a pass that was from Yaya Toure over the top for Carlos Tevez.
And Sorensen did just enough to put Tevez off and did really well not to bring him down.
Well, that was the big question when they were both going for the ball. Tevez was never going to score from there, but was he going to be brought down? Sorensen might have even taken his hands away at the last minute.
Barry. Company. Richards outside. Silva. Here's Toure. Tevez to Richards. Richards only just back from his own hamstring problem that saw him miss 6 games. Flag up here. Free kick for Stoke City.
Well, Sorensen went for the challenge here. Tevez just tries to nick it away. Actually, Sorensen, I think, can do better. He could actually catch the ball here, but he goes with one hand for some reason. Maybe the ball just held up on the grass, but he went with one hand and pushed it onto Tevez. Strange bit of goalkeeping.
Well, credited the Dane with getting there, but credit to Carlos Tevez for staying on his feet as well.
Yep.
Could easily have gone down as though bundled over.
Not too happy at the moment, Tony Pulis, with his side's performance. Hasn't shown the energy to close Man City down. They haven't really posed a threat.
Walters and Jones have been posing a threat recently, and Jones has done well. Joe Hart comes to pick up the ball after Company's important block.
That's better from the front too. Walters and Jones combining brilliantly there. He can look ungainly at times, Kenwyne Jones, but there just threatened to shoot with his right foot, came into his left foot.
I remember a couple of years ago playing for Sunderland, John Terry described him as the most dangerous opponent that he has to play against. Handful at all times and a real threat in the air. 5 goals in his last 6 games after going 13 without scoring. He tends to do that.
He's a confidence player. Company gives away the foul here because the previous one, Kenwyne Jones brought it down on his chest and they got their chance from that. Company tries to get tight the next time and commits the foul.
Started the season with a good few goals.
Oh, just for a moment there, I was just looking at Robert Huth comes out to, he's being marked by De Jong. Try and play the ball to the opposite side to which you think you're going to play it. Mark Wilson's just having a look at his options here.
One is to go for goal. Nowhere near it. Apologies all round.
You said it quite rightly earlier on. He's had a difficult start to the game. But for a moment there was a chance. Robert Huth came out to this left-hand side for the straight ball, and he was up against De Jong. Yaya Toure was walking out towards him. If they'd have played it a bit quicker, it would have been an opportunity.
Getting a run in the side is the former Portsmouth player due to the injury for Danny Higginbotham.
As he should also say that he's playing out of position, because usually plays either at centre-half or the holding midfield player. When he first started for Portsmouth, he was a right-back, not a left-back.
He's one of those squad members who can pretty much do the lot, though, isn't he? You always need one of those.
Doesn't always help you, though, as an individual.
Another who's a former Manchester United junior. There he is again, Wilson. Wilkinson. And Pennant, who was followed briefly by Kolarov. Wilson. Jones took a nudge from Kompany. Good tackle from De Jong. Here's Silva. Toure. Which way does he go? Trying to do it by himself, Yaya Toure. Now Balotelli. Balotelli! Sorensen flying through the air again, and this time it's a corner.
Well, did Sorensen get a touch on this, or was it a deflection off the defender? It's a great save from Sorensen. Brilliant save. Good play from Yaya Toure to start with that driving run. Balotelli picks his spot, hits it perfectly. They think it's going to be a goal. That's brilliant goalkeeping.
David Silva with the Manchester City corner. Twice they've come close. Balotelli there very nearly showed us why Roberto Mancini has so much faith in him.
Still arguing with John Walters, as you mentioned in the last corner. Referee just calling them over. It's a bit of bumping and boring.
It'll go on. It won't stop. Sorensen. Easy enough. Toure gets back to tackle and win the ball, or rather Richards it was, Micah Richards, who was on his way back into defence. Now it's Tevez. Tevez just leaning back. And Stoke are angry that play wasn't stopped because Walters was down after being caught by Richards.
Well, I'm against stopping the play. Walters gets tackled fairly. He's down. Manchester City have got the ball. It's a great tackle from Micah Richards. It was a poor throw out from Sorensen, though, wasn't it? Just caught the ball and rolled it in the penalty area. Walters had nothing on, so he had to try and run with it. Certainly wasn't a foul. That's the best we've seen from Tevez with that little jinky run. Couldn't quite get his decent shot away.
Pennant. Lost the duel with Kolarov. See in the background the Manchester City fans doing the Poznan, their backs to the action dance that they adopted after beating the Polish team in the Europa League. They're going to turn and watch the game again now. It's their side who are pressing. Tevez, brilliantly done. Kolarov. Silva's kept it. Nobody there. Jones, into the ball, was kind to him. Kompany misjudged it. And then Kompany was all over Jones like a rash. Kenwyne's finding plenty to complain about.
Well, that's the only way Stoke can get out there hard. If they get the ball up to Kenwyne Jones, he shields it. And what they're doing well, what Man City are trying to do well, is Kompany comes from the back. And as he gets the hold of the ball, Jones, That's when De Jong tries to come from the front. He mustn't foul, because it's the only way Stoke are getting out at the moment.
Mark Wilson with the Stoke City free kick. Stoke fans are watching nervously right now, but still 0-0. Up to 27 minutes played of the cup final. Walters will tamely put that one behind.
That's the free kick I was talking about a few minutes ago when they had Robert Huth there, but it was Walters up against Micah Richards. He's always going to struggle to get that back across the goal. There it goes. He is just about onside when the ball was played. A real struggle for him to get it back into the danger area.
Manchester City 0, Stoke City 0. The 130th FA Cup final. Wilson with the throw. It's Walters. And Lescott. Throw-in. I think so far Stewart has justified that selection.
He certainly has. He's been excellent playing in between the wide left position and a left-sided centre forward. Showing faith in him. And he's had some good layups as well, as he showed there.
And here's Tevez finding Toure other side. Leave him alone. Silva. Looking for Tevez. Huth was stretching and in the right place to head away. De Jong. Richards won't reach that one.
Poor bit of judgment from Micah Richards. De Jong's telling me he could have actually stopped the ball rather than let it run across your body. Running out of play. Lack of awareness there from Micah Richards.
To foot around Jones. Shawcross. Misplaced by Kolarov, who has been criticised at times this season for the defensive part of his game. Going forward, he always looks exciting, marauding down that left-hand side.
At the moment, Mancini's left back. He hasn't had too much defending to do. Etherington and Pennant have hardly been a force at all. This is the player, as I said before the game, Walters. He's key to the play for Stoke.
Jones claims handball against Kompany. Claimed it quite strongly too. It's Kompany away with it. Now Toure has got the strength to hold off too. And he barged into Whelan. Chance here for Kompany, and Sorensen couldn't hold on. Wilson forms the guard to make sure Silva can't reach it.
Well, I think it was a handball up the other end. When it comes into the box, it certainly hit the hand. When we're going to see it. Here's the run from Yaya Toure. Goes to ground and just brings down Stoke player with him. Company tries to bend it into that far corner.
And there would have been furious Stoke City complaint had the same player accused of handling wandered downfield to score the goal. Pennant. Here's Kolarov. No advantage developing for Stoke. Martin Atkinson felt the first challenge from Kolarov was the foul.
But it was Company in the box up against Jones. Very tight. Certainly hit him on the hand.
Pennant trying to find the right ball in. Sounds like a starting gun going off as soon as he kicks it. Off they go. Joe Hart watches and catches.
There's another poor delivery from Jermaine Pennant. Makes it easy for the goalkeeper. Too close to him. Once again, he's looking to get rid of it quickly, but there wasn't enough runners for him. We spoke at the beginning of the season. I was all for giving a standing goal rather than Joe Hart, but No rule for Hart, I think.
Yeah.
He's been proved right.
Well, he's had an excellent season, but who's to say Shay Given wouldn't have had one as well.
True. Here's the handball again. Off the chest, onto the hand.
Well, that was pretty intentional. We might say one each when you think about Huth's elbow on Balotelli at the other end. It was maybe just outside.
Very difficult for the assistant referee and the referee to see it from the positions they were in. We're lucky we get 2 or 3 views of it.
Silva goes in on Wilkinson. That should really be the other way around, but the Spaniard did enough. World Cup winner 2010. Will he be an FA Cup winner 2011?
This is a better angle. With the lap with the throw, and the other 2 have been a bit too far away.
Shawcross is getting to grips with Joe Hart. It's Robert Huth. He doesn't make contact. Etherington. Whelan sold the dummy, but Silva wasn't buying. And here's Tevez. Toure has stormed down the middle. Can't get the ball to him right now, though. It's Kolarov down the left, who's the best bet again. De Jong didn't really want to play it that way.
Some of Stoke's passing has been really poor. There they had a chance just to keep the ball and get John Walters away. It's a poor pass from Rory Delap.
That's Kolarov. Huth. Scott against Jones. It's Whelan who has wasted it again.
That's when Stoke have to play. There was time on the ball. Etherington was only 10 yards away in loads of space. Instead of just hooking it over his shoulder, he's got to play there, get their passing going.
Barry. Silva. Here's Kolarov. Wilkinson had to get it right, did. De Jong. Stoke being forced back again. Silva only had to collect, and the Potters were under pressure once more. Wilkinson once again with the clearance.
Oh, unbelievably, David Silva miscontrolled the ball. It was a good pass from De Jong into his feet. It was a 2v1 situation up against Wilkinson, and he got a good touch. Certainly would have got a shot away.
He'll be glad of a break this summer, having played his part, albeit only fleetingly in Spain's World Cup win. He's now racked up 51 games for Manchester City in his debut season in England. A couple to go after this. Richards. Here's Barry. Balotelli. Couldn't get in and through. Delap presents the ball back to Manchester City, and Nigel de Jong prowling around the midfield. It's his domain. Tevez escapes Pennant's attempted tackle. Balotelli onside, and it's hit over the top and into the ground by Silva. Well, that's 2 touches of David Silva that we're unaccustomed to seeing.
What a pass from Carles Tevez. Watch when he comes inside here. Balotelli just stays onside, makes the run in behind Robert Huth. Quite sure what Sorensen was doing. Oh, what a chance. Tries to get over the ball. By getting over the ball, he kicks it into the ground. But it was the run of Balotelli, the pass, the vision of Carles Tevez that is causing Stoke problems now.
7 Manchester City shots on goal, 2 from Stoke. It is the Blues threatening much more in this first half at Wembley. That was the biggest chance of the lot. David Silva will look back on that and really think he should have taken it.
Got to say, in terms of quality of play, technical ability, tactical understanding, at the moment, Man City are light years ahead of Stoke City. Stoke hanging on in there, some determined defending.
Barry. Silva to Kolarov. Pennant got a foot to it, but only to give the ball to Toure. Sorensen will have to hurry, or it's a corner. He does get that. Jones. Kolarov is back to get in between Walters and the ball. Toure was miles offside, couldn't play a part in that. There'll be many, of course, Stuart, who'll say, so there should be light years in front with the budget that they've got.
Of course. But Stoke have had chances to play at times when they've had time on the ball and they've hooked it into space. Just hoping that Walters and Jones can cause something, because they've been the only players that have really shown any attacking threat to Man City. Etherington and Pennant have been non-existent in the wide areas.
Sorensen a long, long way from his goal. He got there, that was all that mattered. When you think about the money at Manchester City's disposal, I guess it doesn't matter in many ways financially that they may be in the Champions League next season, but it'll certainly become a more tempting prospect for some of the game's greatest names to come to Manchester and not the red half. Frightening to think what squad they could have next season. Here's Jermaine Pennant flying forward for Stoke. Kenwyne Jones made the space for himself, but then did that with the shot.
All came about because Gareth Barry tried to hit a big diagonal out to Kolarov and got it all wrong and passed it to Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine Pennant making ground up well. That's what they've done in recent games. They've counter-attacked really well, Stoke. Kenwyne Jones came in on his left foot. Misplaced the shot.
The centre of Stoke-on-Trent's not particularly lively this afternoon.
I think the bars might be.
Yeah. Streets deserted in Hanley and Stoke itself, and I would say Burslem, but it's Port Vale territory. Sure they'll be wishing their neighbours well. Not. Here's Tevez. Managed to hold off Whelan and Pennant. Tevez, Silva, Tevez, Balotelli took it. I think the ball was bound for Toure. Now it's a corner.
You're absolutely right. Once again, good combination play down that left-hand side. Tevez, Silva. And the ball was just about to go to Yaya, so I think that's who Tevez was aiming it for.
Silva corner. Lescott has to go it again. Has to go for it again. And now a City throw, Manchester City that is. Cranking it up as we approach half-time. They will feel there should be at least one goal to the good at the interval. If Stoke can go in at 0-0, they can start again. Given away by Kompany. He's got another chance. De Jong. Toure, Richards, brought down, Robert Huth, free kick Manchester City, yellow card Robert Huth.
Well, I think he's a bit yes, he gets a yellow card quite rightly, but he's actually going for the ball here and just gets nicked away from him at the last minute. He really start to make the challenge, but it's the follow-through that wasn't good. May have been slightly wrong when I first saw that. I thought he went with the left foot, that's unlucky, but what's the right foot doing coming through the back of Man City player?
He's got a caution, but he's, in a way, got away with two. Stoke to be punished here. Balotelli wants it. What that young man wants, he generally gets. But Alexander Kolarov's left foot can really strike a ball too. The angle does favour the man from Serbia. Atkinson has told the wall to stay put. They will creep forward. Balotelli leaves it. Here we go, Kolarov. Got it up all right. It's only just come back down.
It's the worst thing that can happen, isn't it, really? Ooh, hit hard, way over the top of the bar. All the expectations of the crowd quickly evaporate. But I always think there's a chance in those situations, if you look to the far post, it couldn't have been Kolarov that took it, but if you just think the ball to the far post, there was a 5 versus 3 advantage to Man City with some big players at the far post as well.
Reverse side of that, Stuart. You've got to have a go, haven't you?
You'd like to, yes. Look at the end result.
Yep. Ever the coach.
And the other thing as well, it might stop teams putting so many in the wall if you start changing it every so often, thinking balls up to the far post.
Some oohs and ahs from Stoke fans, but the whistle had long gone. It's Glenn Whelan holding his head.
And a difficult game for Whelan, difficult game for Delap in that central midfield area. They've been outnumbered and outplayed.
De Jong. Tevez. He looks fit enough.
He's had a decent first half.
Balotelli. His collar off to Silva. Short cross came in too rashly. Silva. Toure going to tee up De Jong to smash it. Well, he went to place it, actually. I thought he was just going to unleash a rasper towards the top corner. He tried to pass it into the bottom.
Well, he couldn't in the end because the ball didn't have enough weight on it, so he had to actually come onto it. He'd have liked it played across his body so he could use his laces. He almost got stuck between his feet when he had the shot. He was going to go with his laces and then went with his side foot. Wasn't a particularly good pass to him.
Broke the long duck on the 1st of May with a goal in the 2-1 win against West Ham. 96 Manchester City games before today, just that one goal. Not his job. This is where he's in his element. Great ball too for David Silva. Tevez wasn't quite sure of how the ball was going to roll to him. In goes De Jong again.
They're just getting outnumbered in midfield, Stoke. It's too easy for Man City to pass past them.
Not a convincing clearance from Wilson either. Helped out by Whelan coming back into the penalty area. And that was rushed. Walters doing just what you said he'd do, though, Stuart. He's made the most of a bad situation for Stoke. Giving it away again now, though. It's collar off, and he's gone for goal, and that really was the wrong idea.
Yeah, poor decision from Kolarov. He just won the ball back. There was a chance to counter-attack quickly. He's hit some good crosses into the box. He's done well on that left-hand side. Mancini gets a lot of stick for being defensive, quite wrongly, I think, at times. Looks like have a more attacking left-back than Kolarov in their team.
They said in Italy he was kissed by fortune, and the Coppa Italia was his competition. How about the English FA Cup? 10 shots Manchester City, 3 Stoke City, and Stuart Robson, you're absolutely bang on. In midfield it's just been one way, all sky blue, dominant.
Because not only have they got the extra player in there, but they also get other players going in. Silva comes in from a wide area to play behind the midfield of Stoke. Tony Pulis has got to do something about it. He was hoping that if you're going to play with 2 wide players, they've got to get in the game and cause problems, and they're not doing anything. They're not doing a good defensive job. They're not doing a good attacking job, Etherington and Pennant at the moment. Man City are dominating that central area.
Wouldn't it be just football if Stoke City would then go and nick one and have the advantage at the break? I just wonder if it stays 0-0 at the interval or better for Stoke, Stuart, whether they have the psychological advantage. They've taken a bit of a pasting, and yet it's still goalless here.
Yeah, well, I think Tony Pulis will have to do something at half-time. Get them in there, may change the tactics slightly, may change 1 or 2 of the players, certainly one of the players.
Who's going where in all this? Jermaine Pennant hasn't really got one right yet. Better, but he couldn't clear De Jong. Wilkinson couldn't deal with Tevez. And Tevez was supposed to be back to his feet and getting the return from Silva. Tevez looks as though he's struggling a bit, and Pennant's down for Stoke as well. It's 10v10 right now. Play goes on with Etherington, and now Martin Atkinson, the referee, blows his whistle, and promptly Tevez gets straight back to his feet. Pennant, though, different story.
I think they had a collision in that midfield area. Here it comes. Oh, just turns his ankle, Jermaine Pennant. There we go, just puts his foot down, just turns his ankle. Oh.
That could be a bad one.
I said he might have to make changes at half-time. Maybe Pennant that comes off.
Well, the board said just 1 minute extra. We've had that minute, so we might have another one now. I think Jermaine Pennant's cup final could well be over if he's taking the full weight on that.
I think that would be disappointing as well for Pulis, because if one of the wide players was going to cause problems, I think it was Pennant. Etherington, for me, doesn't look fit down on this left-hand side. Hasn't really influenced the game at all, but this is a worrying moment for the Stoke fans. He's been a reborn character, hasn't he, Jermaine Pennant, since he's been at Stoke.
You can't see a natural replacement on the bench for Stoke. Midfield-wise, they've got Dean Whitehead, Salif Jow, Danny Pugh.
Well, they've had to cope without Etherington in recent weeks, and what they do, they put the lap out into a wide area, and Whitehead would come into midfield. It may, in some way, make them a more solid outfit.
I'm pretty sure they'll wait until the break to reassess Jermaine Pennant, who's just moving a little more freely with every step there. Bit of intensive treatment in the dressing room, and he might well be back with us. Tevez, meantime, is OK.
On the other hand, Pennant going in at half-time, 15 minutes. Yes, he'll get some treatment, but it will stiffen up.
He's not right at the moment. Half-time whistle to come in the FA Cup final very, very soon. Manchester City 0, Stoke City 0. First half that has been bossed by the team in blue, but they've got nothing to show for it right now. Got a free kick here, which might just represent one last chance.
Well, that's what Wilkinson's all about. If he can't win the ball, he grabs hold of shirts. There's a little tug on Balotelli on that occasion.
Toure. Not really got the time to pass it around in the middle. Stoke fans think it should be half-time. They would. De Jong. Here's Richards. Cleared by Huth, and that is half-time in the 130th FA Cup final. No goals, 2 or 3 talking points, plenty of Manchester City pressure. But Stuart, Stoke are hanging on.
Just about, because Man City have been dominating that central midfield area. They've been far the better team, Man City. They just need that finish.
Half-time, it's Manchester City 0, Stoke City 0.
Whether it's Walters playing that little bit deeper, whether it's bringing one of the wide players narrow, or they're going to have to make a substitution.
Very different atmosphere amongst the Stoke supporters than there was last month when they were here for the semi-final. At this stage, they were 3-0 up against Bolton Wanderers and cruising. They're hanging on in this one. They do still have just as much chance as their opponents do at this stage of winning the 2011 FA Cup. It'll be Manchester City to get the second half started. No changes made to either side during the half-time break. Manchester City won't want any change to the pattern of play. They will want to dominate the midfield and try and find a way through the Stoke back line. You were mentioning chances, Stuart, and there have been a few to Manchester City. There have been plenty of shots. Only 1 or 2 really clear-cut chances, though. They've been from quite far away from goal.
Yeah, David Silva had that one that he should have scored from. It's been good combination play, but they're just their ability to pass the ball, play around Stoke's pressure when Stoke have been able to put pressure on them in midfield. Man City have found situations like this.
It's Kolarov. Not for the first time. He's taken the wrong option, and he's getting the bird from the Manchester City supporters. Silva, Balotelli, Tevez all wanted the cut back. It never came.
What a pass. See, Jermaine Pennant doesn't see the situation, and Wilkinson makes the wrong decision. He goes very, very tight with Tevez. There wasn't too much on, actually, for Kolarov. When you look at it here, where's he going to do? He could cut it back, but very, very difficult. But if he was going to go for the goal, he needs to make sure he hits the target from that sort of range.
He's got some great goals in Italy during his time with Lazio. He's got the 3 for the Manchester team in sky blue. First of those came in the 3rd round replay against Leicester.
There again, same as the first half. The only way that Stoke seem to be able to get out their half is when Jones is fouled.
There's Pennant. Good idea. Header didn't have the force or the accuracy from Robert Huth.
They had an overload at the far post. They took it quickly. That's a good delivery from Jermaine Pennant. Just doesn't get it on target. But very difficult. The ball was slightly behind him.
Those of you who follow Stoke and take a keen interest in the stats, I'm sure will be mindful of the fact that in the Premier League in England this season, they have generally been a much stronger second-half team. If the game's finished after the first half, they'd be down in 15th. Second-half-wise, 5th best team in the country. Tony Pulis will have chosen his words carefully and just had a bit of a reshuffle as well.
I'm not sure what that stat says, apart from, yes, they might be a fitter side than the opposition. It might be that Pulis makes good changes at half-time or gives good team talks. They read the game situation, or maybe they go for the first half just to contain, and in the second half, then try and play a bit more.
Certainly come good towards the end of games. Only Manchester United and Chelsea have scored more late goals. By late, I mean in the last 10 minutes of league games this season, and they'll go right the way through to the end, as the league meeting between these two did back in November. Michael Richards gave Manchester City the lead 81 minutes in. Matty Etherington equalised in injury time. So this will be one to watch right the way through to the last kick. Who knows, extra time and penalties may be needed. There's Delap getting above Barry. Hardly mentioned Rory Delap's name, apart from when he's been throwing the ball in.
Well, he hasn't got on the ball, nor has Whelan, and they've been bypassed. But it's been difficult for them. They've been outnumbered in there. So Tony Pulis has got to make the change. He's got to somehow help them out in that central midfield area, not by coming on the field himself, but making one or two changes in the way the team play. That's the way the team is set up.
Shawcross. That was Richards, who never quite got high enough. It'll be a Stoke throw. It'll be one for Delap to hurl in.
That gets the Stoke crowd going. Got to get behind their team now. A bit quiet in the first half.
Extra time in the FA Cup meeting. The replay between these teams last season. The goal that gave Stoke the advantage was a Shawcross header from a Delap throw. It's Huth that goes for it this time. It's going to come out to Jermaine Pennant, who can hit it. And it was going well wide. It came off Balotelli. Had the time to set himself for the shot. Here's Wilkinson. Lescott. Stoke, for pretty much the first time in the game, with a sustained spell of possession near the Manchester City penalty area. Shawcross very nearly got to that. It did just nick back off the Stoke player. It'll be a Manchester City throw-in. Lescott did his bit.
Wrong decision from Matty Etherington. That's the first time he's shown a bit of skill. Takes his touch inside. He could have shot. He could have got across it himself. Instead, he plays it to Shawcross, who was never going to beat Lescott. And the referee quite rightly awards the throw to Man City. That was Stoke at their best, getting the ball forward, get it into the penalty, and then winning the knockdowns and keeping Man City penned in.
Balotelli to Tevez. Etherington came back. Silva gets the ball. Flag's been waved. Handball given against, I think it was Huth. And it's a Manchester City free kick.
You'd have had him off by now, wouldn't you?
Well, he's already gone in the book. I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
I think he did know what he was doing there. Very dangerous.
Well, I'd have had him off just minutes in for the elbow, so he is leading a charmed life, Robert Huth. David Silva to tease it in. Richards is up, Lescott is there. Balotelli and Walters are continuing their own little personal battle. And it comes to Richards, who was trying to climb above everybody, and Martin Atkinson has ruled that it was indeed a climb from the Manchester City fullback.
Certainly was, but it was a great bit of defending by Robert Huth in the box. As it may have been handball. Watch Robert Huth here. Just gets in the way of Micah Richards, so solid in the air. Walters is in there as well.
I made sure there was something for Richards to have to climb over. Love it when you lot have played the game at the top level. Always describe things like that as a great bit of defending. Didn't seem particularly keen to play the ball.
Just get in the way of the person who's attacking it.
Good old pro.
And what he did, he bought himself a foul as well.
Here's Pennant. He gets a foul. Lescott was in his way. And it's that ankle again.
Exactly the same ankle.
It's given way again.
Yeah.
Lescott didn't do anything wrong. Free kick for Stoke. Real problem for Pennant, but I guess that's twice, almost the same thing twice. Was just caught as well by Lescott. And that was after the...
He's got to go off. There's no way he can carry on with that.
But there's obviously a weakness there now.
He still hasn't got anybody taking their tracksuit off. There's no way that he can play with any sort of ability. There he is. He's just starting to say to somebody to get warmed up.
I think Dean Whitehead would be the obvious choice. It's Etherington who puts it in. And it was Lescott who got in the way of it. Here's De Jong. Tevez. Can't get past Wilkinson. Really good tackle. He's been arguably Stoke's best defender, and he's down hurting here.
Again, Wilkinson did really well there. Won the ball off Tevez. Tevez just had a little nibble at it again. But they don't mind all these things happening. Oh, there's a poor challenge. It's not from Tevez. It's from Yaya Toure. There's the good tackle from Wilkinson. Wilkinson gets up. Watch Yaya Toure just come in. There it goes, down the inside of his left shin.
You see, I never understand why we all get up in arms and shout about the two-footed off-the-ground ones, but they're the ones that are the sneaky, nasty ones to me.
Yeah.
That was not a good challenge at all, and Toure hasn't been booked for it. He should have been. Up goes Lescott. It's come to Pennant, who's running around again like a spring chicken. And he's fouled by Balotelli, who's dancing around as though a grave injustice has just been dealt him.
This style of game is helping Stoke City get back into the game. If Man City keep fouling, keep giving free kicks away, lose their fluidity, it's going to cause them problems. It's just a shove in the back. It's a silly foul. Ridiculous challenge.
And Carlos Tevez has to calm the young man down because, if he starts to lose it, Manchester City could be down to 10. And the Stoke fans will do their bit to wind him up. It's not hard. The pot's boiling. And this is helping, as Stuart's just said, Stoke City all the time, playing into their hands. Etherington. Pennant let it run. Who've had a swing and missed it. Back in from Wilson. Here's Etherington. And Gareth Barry got in the way for Manchester City. Pennant. Too high for Jones. Wilson. Can't get around Richards. Company. Kept his cool marvellously. Now Tevez. Trying to get away from Glenn Whelan. Wilkinson back there too, and David Silva in space. Silva may need somebody else. Certainly didn't have that amount of time.
Well, he needed to get it on his left foot a lot quicker than he did.
Here's De Jong. Hit Tevez. Second half has sparked into life at Wembley.
Oh, Stoke City pressing, getting free kicks, getting the ball into the box, looking dangerous. Then Man City on the counter-attack.
Here's Toure from Balotelli's ball through. Lescott is in the penalty area. Tevez is there. And it was deflected behind for a corner.
Well, what an opportunity that Silva had to start with on that counter-attack. This is the second one. Good movement from Tevez in the box. Just see him on the right of the pitcher. Works hard to get away from his man. Just can't sweep it in.
Alexander Kolarov. Headed away by Walters. That's Barry. And that was a swinger.
Good defending from Stoke. I think it was John Walters in the box there, winning the first header, but it was Silva that had the real opportunity. Tevez racing away here from Whelan, does well to turn. Wilkinson's overplayed it there. Should be round on the cover. That's the touch. Now he's looking to get it on his left foot. And by that time, great recovery runs from Stoke players. Because remember, the play was up the other end of the field.
Just a nitpick with Manchester City's captain. Did the pass to Silva just need a little more pace on it?
It probably did, but he was under a lot of pressure. He had to turn away from the challenge of Whelan.
Two glorious opportunities for David Silva, though. Jones takes the bump from Lescott. Much more even second half so far.
And this is the sort of game that Stoke want to be playing. They want to play a high-pressure game, get the ball forward early. This is when they're at their best. when they try and play a counter-attacking game, they haven't got the quality to get from back to front that quickly.
Lescott. That's Kolarov. Balotelli had the right idea, but couldn't find Toure with his header.
If you look at Stoke's record under Tony Pulis, their home form far outweighs the points they've won away from home. It's because they play a different sort of game at home. They play a high-pressure game, get the ball forward, get their midfield high up the field, and keep the ball in the danger area.
Bit of hesitation from Richards, but then he did time his tackle on Walters well. Not a good ball from De Jong, it was behind Silva. Walters finds Etherington. Wilson is the overlapping fullback. Ignored by Etherington. Whelan and Delat. Sloppy from Rory Delat. Straight to Balotelli, now it's Tevez, and that was pretty careless too. He's taking issue with David Silva's movement, but I don't think it was a great ball. Pennant. All won by De Jong, just caught by Shawcross, no harm done. Throw in Stoke. This is better as a spectacle for us.
Much better. Man City trying to play counter-attacking football. They are a threat on the counter-attack because they've got a bit of pace with Balotelli. Tevez movement. David Silva will link up, but Yaya Toure is key when they counter-attack, as his strength and power in running with the ball or running off the ball gets him from the defensive area to attacking area very quickly.
You mentioned the home and away conundrum for Stoke City, borne out by the fact they're 11 games unbeaten at their Britannia Stadium. They've only won one of their last 8 played away from Stoke. That was here in the semi. This is Richards, but he was always going to be beaten by Sorensen to that.
Great vision from David Silva. This when he plays with his right foot, stops it with his left, then plays it with his right inside Wilson. Sorensen read it well. Had to be alive, the goalkeeper.
Julian Lescott off balance. Balotelli off the ball thanks to Andy Wilkinson.
I don't think we gave Sorensen enough credit in the first half for that brilliant save that he made from Balotelli, and it was bent into that top corner.
And you just set the record straight. Tell you what, if Stoke can keep it 0-0 through 2 hours of football and they go to penalties, then they've got just the right man in goal with Sorensen's record. Silva having a couple of hacks at Wilson, but Wilson just swatted him away.
So I think that's a foul by Company. John Walters was trying to make the run. Company wasn't watching the ball, he was having a grapple with John Walters. The referee didn't see it.
Just trying to think, Stuart, we've seen a couple of catches from Joe Hart. Has he made a save yet?
I don't think he has.
Stoke are looking more likely since half-time, though. Now, Balotelli's tangling with Wilkinson. It's getting more and more obvious that he is getting wound up. He's got his little duel going on in the box too with Walters at set pieces. Has the fuse been lit?
The problem you've got is it seems like a good decision to play Balotelli on his first half performance, but when he starts to get irritated, you cannot get him sent off because that could lose you the game. And Mancini at some point has got to react to it. He's got to be aware of Balotelli's situation. Will he take him off?
He's on the other side of the pitch. It might not be quite so easy to see what's going on. Here's Tevez. Loses the ball to Whelan. That was a really good tackle. We're seeing more of him and Delap in the middle for Stoke now. And Kenwyne Jones is through the middle at the sharp end. Jones, he's in! Kenwyne Jones denied by Hart. Now he's made a save, and what a vital one it was.
Well, it's really good play from Kenwyne Jones. This is just a ball over the top. Lescott didn't deal with it particularly well. He does everything right. He tries to play it below Joe Hart as he jumps, but Joe Hart got out quickly and made a really good save. But Lescott was really found wanting here. Ball over the top. Lescott should always be favourite. He allows Jones to get behind him. What a chance. What a chance.
What a good save from Hart. He gambled, he made himself big, he got there, he was brave, and he denied all those Stoke City supporters their big moment. Here's a change. Etherington. Well, I didn't think he'd last the distance. He's lasted just more than an hour. Dean Whitehead to come on. Interesting that Jermaine Pennant will stay out there then.
Well, it shows what a good physio I would have been.
On comes an extra body in the centre of midfield, and I think you called it earlier, didn't you, Stuart? Delap will go out to that left wing that Etherington's just vacated now.
Yeah, but he won't play as wide as Etherington. He'll play slightly tucked in. He put in a very good performance last week against Arsenal with exactly that formation, with Delap out on the left-hand side.
I think Micah Richards will mind that. Chance for him to gallop forward now for Manchester City. Did that at the Britannia Stadium against Stoke in November, scored a wonderful solo goal when he broke into the box.
What Stoke are doing, they're allowing De Jong to have the ball. They're almost saying to De Jong, well, go on then, see if you can pass through us. You might be a good defensive midfielder. We don't think you're going to cause us any problems on the ball. So he's the spare player. He can dictate the play for Man City.
There he is, finding Silva. Toure to Tevez. Tevez just manages to keep it and shoot. Routine save for Thomas Sorensen.
Yeah, I'd love to have hit that a little bit better. Man City had two players racing in case Sorensen had dropped it, mishandled it. It was a good turn from Tevez. First touch wasn't great, showed good strength to get away from the challenge.
Sorensen with the launch. Lescott against Jones. This time Lescott was much stronger. Whitehead. Closed down by De Jong. Stoke's ball.
Over comes Rory Delap. And what usually happens here, Pennant goes over to the other side and they'll stay like that for 2 or 3 minutes.
Ryan Shawcross is up in the box for Stoke.
He has a constant argument, Tony Pulis, with Pennant about this, going over to the far side. He turned his back. Pennant doesn't really want to go out there.
And it comes from Rory Delap, floating on the breeze. That's Wilkinson. Never scored for Stoke. This is game number 122. What a way to start. What a day to start this would be.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the right decision there. You just got a bit of pressure on, the ball comes out, you get it back into the danger. You've still got your centre-halves up, still got your big players in the box.
Stoke a little careless in possession. Huth. Tevez nearly threatened to just get through, and he claims he's been fouled by the German. Prime counts rising. Here's Kolarov. Tevez frustrations are certainly increasing. De Jong. You're right, he can't pass it through.
And that's the position I was talking about. Walters is going much deeper now. Look at Walters, he's playing almost as another midfield player.
Now Balotelli has been hauled down to the floor by Ryan Shawcross. He's got back up again, though, the Italian, because he'll want to say in what happens next. Tevez it is who's rolled the ball into free kick striking position. I wonder who has first call. When your squad is so full of superstars, it's a tough one sometimes to sort out. Captain's armband might prove decisive.
I think if you're looking for power from this sort of range, I don't think Tevez is your man.
And he's walking away.
Well, it's going to be left to Balotelli.
There we go. Mario Balotelli straight into the top of the wall. Have another go. Came off Huth. That's Toure. This is Richards. Toure. Stoke have forced them back out of the box. Barry. Shawcross in the way.
I'm not sure Balotelli will take the next one. There was a couple of poor efforts there.
Look at the cue again. Toure. Manages to hold off Whelan easily. Yaya Toure can't quite get past the next challenge, and it's a goal kick. That will anger the Ivorian further.
I think it did come off him last. Just trying to barge his way through here. Good bit of trickery, then goes into the space. It's actually a good tackle from Wilson in the end, who plays it on to Yaya Toure.
So just about 3/4 of the way through the 90 minutes at Wembley. 88,643 the official attendance for the FA Cup final. Yet to cheer a goal, the supporters of Stoke City and Manchester City. It's been an intriguing battle so far. Pretty much even since half-time. First half was all about the team in blue. Richard's throw. That's Whelan. This is Jones. Silva asked for the free kick and got it. Much to Kenwyne Jones' annoyance. Silva. Here's Delap. And now Pennant. Kolarov didn't touch him, didn't get the ball either. Pennant's looking fit as a fiddle now. Wilkinson. In comes De Jong. Destroyer-in-chief for Manchester City.
Stoke are getting better, aren't they? They're getting better. They sense that they can get something here. The key factor is if they don't get the first ball, they've got to get the second one and keep it in the danger area.
It's another one for Delap. Oh, Delap missed the 2003 FA Cup final through injury whilst a Southampton player. His big moment, his stage, his long throw. 3 came to meet it in blue. Lescott was the one who rose highest. Now it's Delap to chip one in. Played by Balotelli, who's done some useful defensive work. He's put a shift in today, not always the case. Pennant on the left, he might not like to be there, but he can be effective. And he's been held off and won the free kick. Conceded by Richards.
You'd like Pennant to be a little bit stronger here. Richards just sticks his arm, that's the one. There's the second arm. Pennant doesn't need to go to ground, but he does. Buys the free kick right in front of the referee. And again, more pressure on Man City's big players at the back.
Last season's FA Cup final, Didier Drogba enjoyed this position for Chelsea against Portsmouth. What's going to happen here for Stoke City against Joe Hart and co? Who knows what might be coming? I think it will favour just the ball in for somebody to finish off. Boots there. Pennant will look for him. Oh, he tried the disguised one. He was looking for Walters, I think. Now it's Manchester City's throw-in and a wasted, useful position for Stoke.
Well, I actually think that Tony Pulis called that free kick. That's why Pennant's having an argument with him. Pennant wanted to play it into the box, and Tony Pulis said play it down the side. They've had a little row about it.
There's going to be a Manchester City change soon. Adam Johnson's coming on, and we understand it's Gareth Barry who's going to make way. A bit more attacking threat then. David Platt just issuing the instructions to the young England winger.
What do I assume if it is Gareth Barry that comes off? Yaya Toure will just drop that little bit deeper.
Does mean they're taking a risk with Balotelli's temper. Not booked yet, we should point that out, but he's sort of teetering.
He certainly is. Perhaps they want to bring Balotelli over to the right-hand side so Mancini can have a good look at him.
Have a few words, perhaps. No change yet, though. The ball's not gone out. That's Wilson. And this is Walters. Got in front of Richards easily. Uses the ball well. It's Jones. Jones is strong. He won't give the ball up. De Jong. I think Martin Atkinson, the referee, got in the way there. Very beneficially for Stoke. It's Delap. That's not going to benefit them one bit.
Well, that's where you want Etherington playing. Delap, when he gets out there, he does a good defensive job, and he's obviously on there for his long throws, but in those sort of crossing areas, on the left foot, he's not going to deliver quality.
Tevez. Balotelli's bursting into the middle. Toure. Collar off down the left-hand side. Yaya Toure has wasted possession of the ball now, and Manchester City have caught the disease that Stoke were inflicted by in the first half. Here's the change. Barry is going off, Johnson is coming on, and that will mean a reshuffle. Gareth Barry, who was a runner-up at the old Wembley in 2000 with Aston Villa against Chelsea. He'll want a different medal from this one, but he won't be on the field at the finish. Adam Johnson maybe gets a great reception from the Manchester City fans. Could be the match winner. The sort of player who's got every chance of being a hero.
He's come on with some instructions as well. He's going to play out on the right-hand side, Adam Johnson. Looks as though Balotelli is going to play as centre-forward, Silva on the left-hand side, and Tevez is going to play in the hole behind Balotelli. They're the instructions that have come through, and Yaya Toure will play that little bit deeper alongside De Jong.
Well, it's the attacking formation, otherwise known as charge. Haven't done as much attacking in the second half as they did in the first. That may be about to change. With just under 17 minutes of the regulation, 90 to go. Sliced out by Wilson. Here's Tevez. De Jong. Didn't want another go. Silva. Balotelli. Silva again. Balotelli. Pinball. Toure! Manchester City have one hand on the FA Cup. Yaya Toure, their semi-final hero, gives them the lead on final day.
Well, it's good play from David Silva. There's a great little touch from Balotelli in there. But Yaya Toure, when the ball came to him, ricocheted off a couple of players, but he just smashes it with his left foot. That's the power. Watch the combination play. Balotelli, little back heel. Silva does well because he's beaten the first time. Gets it back into a dangerous area, and when it falls for Yaya Toure, he gets his standing leg off the ground, he gets his knee over the ball, and there's nobody going to stop this. Well played, David Silva.
One blast of Yaya Toure power has got Manchester City fans doing the Poznan. A show of celebration from Mancini, Kidd and Co on the bench. It's him again. It's the man who was 28 years old yesterday. Happy birthday, Yaya Toure. Could be bringing the best present of all back to Manchester for his club. And Stoke are rattled, the frustration is showing, and there's going to be a yellow card for Andy Wilkinson.
Wilkinson on Balotelli. Wilkinson is a fiery customer. He does like to put his foot in. He does grab hold of people's shirts. That's what he's in the team for. He's not an attacking player at all. This is a poor challenge. Yeah, the big swipe. I don't think he actually gets Balotelli, but he was certainly trying to. And David Silva, after the free kick was given, whacked the ball at Wilkinson. Stoke players asked him to be booked, which isn't right either.
All the noise is coming from the blue end of Wembley Stadium. Manchester City 1, Stoke City 0. Deadlock broken by the man who won the semi-final for Man City. 4 goals in his last 8 games. Would you believe it? Scored the goal moments after he'd been asked to play in a more defensive midfield position. Now here's Kolarov. There's never much defensive about him. Wilson. Up and away to Walters. Stoke City, as regards attacking options, are limited as to what changes they can make from here on in. They do have John Carew, who can be a handful, as many defenders around Europe know. Well, Kolo Toure, bittersweet moment for him. Can't play due to that suspension after failing a drugs test earlier on in the season. Reportedly took his wife's slimming pills by mistake.
What a strike that was. That's how much it means to the staff at Man City.
I should think he can join in with those celebrations if City win the cup, and if Kid Brother has just got the winner.
How does Stoke get themselves back into the game? I think at some point, if he's fit, Carew's got to come back into the fold. There's no one going to stop that shot. What a strike it was.
Nearly lost his head in the celebrations that followed. That's a lovely shot.
Substitutes are over there as well.
1969, Neil Young with the only goal of the cup final against Leicester. Joe Mercer and Malcolm Allison's great sky blue team. That was the last time Manchester City lifted the FA Cup. Looking for a second to put this one further out of Stoke's reach. Pennant lost the ball to Silva. Silva thought he was fouled as Pennant went back in to atone for his first error. Here's Delap. Through to Jones. Lescott has dealt with him this time.
Well, I think Jones has got to play on Lescott. I think Company's a much better defender than Lescott is. I think Jones can get the better of the England man.
Taken away from Sorensen. Seemed to strike the hand of Delap. It's advantage with Manchester City anyway. It's Johnson. Manages to get away from Wilson, at least briefly. Wilson back at him but can't stop him. Johnson twisting, turning, running. Silva's effort is blocked. Straight against Whitehead.
Great player from Adam Johnson. Not only did he go past his man Wilson, he had the composure and the awareness to find David Silva, who tried to play it with the outside of his left foot.
Here's Pennant. Wilkinson outside. Across comes Lescott. Behind for a goal kick. They have waited such a long time to get even close to this. Last FA Cup final, 1981, 30 years ago. Lost in a replay to that Argentinian-inspired Tottenham team.
What a great side they were, that Man City team at the time. John Bond, the manager. One of the best FA Cup finals we saw at the old Wembley.
Well, people talk about Ricky Villa's winner. It was arguably not even the best goal in that game. Steve McKenzie hit a belter, didn't it?
In the first game, Tommy Hutchinson scored at both ends.
Here is nuisance value. John Carew is ready to add his weight and height to the Stoke battle. Rory Delap is making way. I think it's going to be a double change with Danny Pugh ready too. They're just hanging fire with that one. Well, it's Carew on. Lots can happen when he's on the field. Good record against Manchester City in his Villa days, 4 goals in 7 games against them. Good record in the FA Cup, 12 goals in 12 games. Well, he scored this season too.
He's a real handful when balls come in the box. And what's happening? John Walters has gone out to the left-hand side of midfield. He's still talking to Pulis about it at the moment. And Carew will play alongside Kenwyne Jones, and then Whitehead and Whelan will stay in midfield.
So if Manchester City went charge with Carew and Jones, Stoke City are going barge. Whelan just tugged back on the arm of Mario Balotelli. For all us almost tempting him to lose it slightly, he's kept his head pretty well, the young man.
Just about.
He's still with us. It's the name of Roberto Mancini echoing around Wembley now. He was a player here. He was the captain of Sampdoria in 1992 when they lost the European Cup final to Barcelona. He's the man who has the magic touch when it comes to the cup. 10 times he was a Coppa Italia winner as player and manager. He actually won the competition in his first season at all 3 of the clubs he managed in Italy: Fiorentina, Lazio and Inter. And this is his first full season in charge of Man City.
The difference between winning the Coppa Italia and winning the FA Cup is totally different.
Oh, even he will say this is much more special.
You also have to play a lot more games to get to the final in England.
Manchester City corner. Sorensen did his best to stop the ball crossing the line.
Once again,
Kolarov who got the crossing.
Sorry, once again, Kolarov getting forward. Jermaine Pennant having to run back. He's got a bit of stick off the Man City fans around us here, Kolarov at times, but he certainly had a decent game.
David Silva has Tevez close at hand. 7.5 minutes of the 90 to go. It's Tevez. Long time to keep the ball in the corner. There'll be a bit more football to be played by Manchester City yet. Tevez has lost it. Pennant. Whitehead. Had to be a little quicker. Wilkinson up to Carew. Scott leaves it to Kolarov. Just enough on that for Joe Hart, but the keeper had to hurry. Carew closing him down. It's a big obstacle to have in your way.
Well, Stoke need a couple of free kicks in the attacking half of the field and get the ball into the box and keep the pressure on. Don't think they're going to open up Man City in general play.
Here's Jones. Straight against the chest of Lescott. Toure. Here's Balotelli. He's got Shawcross backing away. He's got Silva here to help him. David Silva! Sorensen has lost it. Robert Huth is there. Adam Johnson was nearly there.
Well, David Silva, he knew exactly what he was doing here. There was nothing else for him. On for him, he goes between the legs of Ryan Shawcross. He's very much over one side of the goal, Sorensen. He's almost beyond his near post.
Stoke City with their last throw of the dice. Glenn Whelan's gone off. Danny Pugh has come on. A few boos from Manchester City fans with good knowledge. He only played once in the Premier League for Manchester United. Never really made the grade there, but they remember. Silva can't get there in time. Well, he did apparently. It's going to be a throw-in. I thought it had gone out, and Thomas Sorensen agrees with me.
A throw-in. Had he not stopped David Silva, he would have got there.
Should have been a goal kick, that. Franny Lee, Tony Book, Mike Summerby. 1969, Manchester City's last FA Cup winners. You can just see, greats of the game, they've seen it all, but they're on the edge of their seats. City through and through, that trio.
Franny Lee, I think, was chairman in quite some while.
They weren't great days for the club.
Tony Book was a great captain and leader of the team in the middle. And Mike Summerby, what an excellent winger he was.
He made the goal for Neil Young in 1969. Tony Book then went on to manage the team the last time they won a pot. 76 League Cup against Newcastle. Balotelli has got past Wilkinson. Here's Silva. Wilkinson got back at him. Pennant. Wilkinson. 5 minutes, Stoke. What have you got?
Well, they've got to get the ball in the other half.
Sorensen has to go long. Walter's waiting for it. And Carew will try and stay in front of Kompany. He's done it. It's John Carew. Needed to get rid a little sooner. Tevez. Here's Kolarov. Now Balotelli. Manchester City are 4 minutes away. De Jong. Let the ball run away. It's Lescott. David Platt at the top of your picture, urging everybody out and forward. Don't want to sit back and invite Stoke to get even one chance to level.
It's amazing when you win in. The assistant manager comes to the side of the pitch.
Lots of arm waving. I'm sure they all know what it means. Little nick. Carew. Goal kick.
Well, he is a threat in the air. He's much better when they've got in-swinging crosses coming in, John Carew. Just gets that little leap and lets it slide off the front of his forehead.
Great cheer for Manchester City's captain, who's passing the armband on to Vincent Kompany. No goal for Tevez on FA Cup final day, but his usual industry. He's almost gone the distance. He's only just come back to fitness. I wonder whether he is fully fit. You wouldn't believe there was any doubt at all.
No, he had some really good moments in the game. Right at the start, he had that shot that was saved by Sorensen. He linked up the play well.
One Argentine for another. Zabaleta for Tevez. Sporting his usual battles from games past. His scars, Pablo Zabaleta.
Well, Man City are going to go with a back three. They're playing with Micah Richards, the right-sided centre-half, Company as the middle one, Lescott as the left-sided one, and the two wing-backs will be Zabaleta and Kolarov.
And here's Johnson. He's been forced back by Pennant. It's good work from Jermaine Pennant. It'll just be a Manchester City throw, though.
Mancini has put that extra defender on. Make sure they've got three centre-halves for those balls played into the box. Any free kicks that go into Jones and Carew. They've got a spare player.
De Jong. 1981, it was Diaz and Villa, two Argentinians who put paid to Manchester City's FA Cup hopes. Well, Tevez has done his bit. Here's another, Zabaleta. And here's an Italian, Balotelli. Kept his head and the ball well. Zabaleta. Hard to judge on a one-off, but this might be the day Mario Balotelli has come of age. Matured, at least for today. Toure. Balotelli. It's blocked, it's a corner.
Once again, it was Yaya Toure playing the ball to Balotelli and making the forward run, trying to just inject a bit of pace into the move.
Of course, we've got these celebrations if Manchester City win this to watch with interest, because he sparked a row with Manchester United after the semi-final. It's not over even when it's over with him. Might be over for them soon. Balotelli. Silva. Magician with the ball at his feet. Kolarov with the throw-in. Back to Nigel de Jong. We're ticking around into time added on to the end of the FA Cup final. Balotelli to Yaya Toure. Toure's turn didn't deceive Pugh. At least 3 more minutes to play. That's what Stoke have left to find a goal in.
Advise Yaya Toure to get back. He's now got to do a bit of defending.
Not showing any desire to do that. Manchester City effectively down to 10 in that end of the field. That's Kolarov. Yaya Toure looks a spent force, to be quite honest.
Really what you want from your holding midfield player.
Sorensen. Flying through the air comes Micah Richards. Stoke have the chance to get the ball up there again. Balotelli trying to close Wilson down. Short cross, an extra striker now. It's Company's header. It's Walters to Whitehead. Into the 2nd minute of injury time. Whitehead. He's beaten Zabaleta. It's Carew. He didn't get a contact on it. Nearly came to Pennant. It is Jermaine Pennant. It's blocked. It's behind. It's a Stoke City corner. There is life left in Stoke City yet.
That was the one I thought Carew would score with. That in-swinging cross. That's what he used to have at Aston Villa with Ashley Young. Used to deliver crosses in. Just flicks it with the inside of it. Sorensen coming up now.
Wouldn't that be an FA Cup story? Manchester City change before Stoke take the corner. David Silva is going off. Patrick Vieira is coming on. Vieira, who played in 3 FA Cup final wins for Arsenal. 1998, 2002, 2005. Is 2011 about to be added to his collection?
They always say never make a change when you're defending a corner.
Thomas Sorensen is up in the mix for Stoke. Jermaine Pennant will take the corner. What happens next could be so important. It's Pennant. It's flicked by De Jong. It's come to Pugh. Sorensen stays there. Out comes Hart. Not cleanly away. Pennant. Still a chance. Deflected behind by Vieira. Important already. Corner Stoke. Here they come again. They've scored some late goals this season, the Potters. They need one now more than ever before. Tony Pulis, whose heart was broken by a late Manchester City goal here in 1999 when Gillingham managed her in the playoffs. Is it revenge time? It's Pennant in. It was Shawcross. It's wide. It's a goal kick. And that might be it. That might mean the FA Cup is Manchester City's to take home.
And Man City have defended a lot of good balls in the air, but this was the goal that looks as though it settled it. Yaya Toure, who's been excellent again. He's had an excellent season. So too has Mancini. And so too have these spectators.
That's what they do these days. Doing the Poznan. Hart, up and away to glory for Manchester City. The wait is over. The first trophy since 1976. Roberto Mancini has brought it home to the sky blue half of Manchester. That banner at Old Trafford that has mocked Manchester United's rivals' lack of success along the years will have to come down. The blue moon is rising. Manchester City are the FA Cup winners.
And they deserve it as well. They've been the better team. But they're celebrity supporters as well.
Liam Gallagher's waited a long time. Every Manchester City fan has waited, in many cases, a lifetime for this. The blue flags wave. The celebration started quite some time ago, to be honest. One trophy, that's what they said. The Sheikh Mansour millions have been injected into the team. The general feeling is the first one's the most important. They've got it. The trophy cabinet bear no more.
And I thought they played well, particularly the first half today. They dominated the game, they dominated midfield, they had the better technical players. What a moment. The Yaya Toure. He was excellent throughout the game, but had that great opportunity, and it shows what it means to those old players as well.
The last lot to win the FA Cup for Manchester City. They don't mind that their names are just playing second fiddle just for a while, because the current generation of superstars has risen to the mark today. Big games need big players. Yaya Toure, the biggest of them all out there.
So 1-0 victory to Manchester City, and the cup is theirs. So a first bit of silverware was in the era of the of Sheikh Mansour and the others, and all of that money. But I guess it was deserved, even though it was a meagre victory.
It was. For City fans, they don't care. 35 long years, they're not in the least bit concerned about how it came. It came against a team in Stoke who really was a great occasion for them, but their football should never have really been winning the match. You know, there's a huge gulf between obviously the top half of the Premiership and the bottom. For City, the investment's paid off, as it did for Chelsea only a few years ago, don't forget. You know, when Abramovich came in and took over Chelsea, hadn't won a trophy for a very long time. You know, money talks in modern football, and all of a sudden, you know, they brought in Mourinho at that time as well, so they got a top manager as well as top players, and it brought success. Now these guys have done the same. In that sense, he's been vindicated. Don't forget to Mark Hughes was the coach who we got rid of, brought in Mancini, who's multiple winner of Serie A titles as well as Coppa Italia, as the commentator was saying, and he's now came up with what was necessary for him to keep his job this season. Top 4 in the Premiership, and now their first trophy in 35 years. It's been a marvellous season for them.
and a place in the Champions League as well. So it's in a way a double net for Mancini. He's done well, and I guess he stays in the job.
I mean, his performance really, is that a player that's worth 27 million?
Is that what they paid for him?
27 million Australian dollars.
That's what Mancini wants from a player, what his style is. It plays into his style, and that's what I mean. If you he's obviously bought players and the way they play, like I said, very slow in the transition. These are players, once you give them the room, once you give them the space, they love to play and that. But if you're not, you've got a game plan, and against most teams, he does sit back, he does play very cautious. He even did in the first half here, and I just don't think that's going to match the likes of United and
No,
Chelsea.
exactly. That's why I think I'll never see them winning the Premier League if that's the way that they're going to go forward.
Okay, players on the steps to receive their medals. Let's go back to our commentators at Wembley.
And picks the players, he buys them. I'm the manager, I'm the head coach. I'll pick the team as I want to pick the team.
Ryan Shawcross is a disappointed Stoke City captain. Stoke, the 55th different club to play in an FA Cup final. Sadly for them, they've gone the way of the last debutants, Millwall, who were blown away by Manchester United 7 years ago. Not been blown away, Stoke, but it's been a pretty similar game in terms of balance of play. Only one team really dominant.
I thought Stoke looked a bit fearful at the start of the game. They defended very deeply. Their midfield players couldn't get close to Man City. Their front players didn't really combine, although Jones had that chance in the second half. They threw the shackles off in the second half and started to get forward that much better.
Not the medal Ryan Shawcross and his players came to Wembley to collect today. I'm pretty sure Stoke City as a club, and certainly their supporters, will shrug this off pretty quickly, though. Well, they're a club going the right way.
And this is great to see. Quite often I've been here at Wembley, when the losing team go up to get their medals, most of their fans have gone. Nearly every one of the Stoke City supporters are still here, ready to cheer on their team.
I remember being here at the end of February, Birmingham City against Arsenal in the League Cup. The Arsenal was deserted when Birmingham went up, and indeed when Arsenal went up. They were already on the tubes and buses home. You're right, Stuart. Stoke City have stayed till the end, and they fought right till the end. It'll be an interesting battle in the Premier League on Tuesday. Manchester City against Stoke in Manchester. Just wonder if there might be a bit of a Stoke revival in a few days' time, especially if the FA Cup's paraded pre-match.
Tony Pulis is going to have to lift his players. They put a lot of effort into today's game. Just couldn't get close to Man City in that first half. Their midfield players had to work really hard, the likes of Whelan and Delap, without any sort of reward for it.
This all comes on the day when Manchester United clinched the Premier League title. I don't think you'll find a single Manchester City supporter who cares a jot about that. This is their day. And it's a former Red who will lead them up to the top of those Wembley steps and lift the cup high.
And we talk about gambles. Before the game, we were talking about Carlos Tevez being a gamble. Having not played for a little while, we were talking about Etherington being a gamble and Huth being a gamble. But out the three, Carlos Tevez was the one that played the best.
Wrapped in the flag of his native Argentina, appropriate colours. Carlos Tevez leads his team up the steps to take the trophy, get his winner's medal, take the honours, and go down in Manchester City history. When you haven't won a trophy since 1976, the next group of players to do it, we're always going to be fated forever. And it would be fitting if he keeps that red and black scarf on. Those were the colours they wore in 1969. The goal-scoring hero that day, Neil Young, sadly passed away in February after a long battle with cancer. There was a feeling around the football club that, as a result of that, it was a poignant moment. This was the time when that duck would be broken and the FA Cup would come back to the blue half of the city of Manchester. England's football city. There's the man who made the goal in '69, Mike Summerby, who's still, when you meet him and talk to him, just about the biggest Man City fan around.
He was a wonderful winger, wasn't he? Great winger, gets crosses in.
1976, Manchester City's last trophy. 35 years on, they are winners once more. The long wait for for a trophy to take home is over. Players will collect their winners' medals from Corporal Mark Ward. They'll all gather together. They'll get ready as a team to lift the FA Cup high. The ribbons are on, the ribbons are blue. Manchester City are FA Cup winners. Multi-millionaires, every one of them. That's not why you play the game. These are the moments why those at the top rise to the top and play football.
And this player here, Company, not only is he excellent today, he's been brilliant throughout the season. Adam Johnson came on and had that good run, didn't he? There's the winner, Yaya Toure. Outstanding all season.
Edin Dzeko, yet to really get his Manchester City career off the ground yet. His goals will come, his time will come, other great players will come.
I've got some bad ones there at the moment. I thought Gareth Barry in the first half, I know he was taken off in the second half, but he was instrumental in running that midfield in that first 45 minutes.
And what a few weeks Yaya Toure has had. Nigel de Jong gets a great cheer for the way he goes about his job at the centre of the pitch. Just going back to Yaya Toure's, young Dedrick Boyata gets his hands on the cup. The only goal of the semi-final here at Wembley against Manchester United. Only one way to top that. He did it. And Roberto Mancini brings a trophy to Manchester City. Lovely moment too for Bernard Halford. For 50 years he's been involved in the professional game, first with Oldham, then with Manchester City. For many, he is Mr. Manchester City. Keeps the club running on an admin side. And only right that he should play his part in these celebrations. He's seen the lot. He's not had a great deal to cheer. But as Gary Cook, the chief executive, has a word in his ear, it'll all seem worth it now, to the likes of him, to the likes of every Manchester City supporter who has gone through some very, very difficult days. Let's not forget, the last time they were here at the old Wembley, they were getting out of the old third division, well, the third division as it was, on penalties against Gillingham by the skin of their teeth. That was 1999. Who can look on from then and really believe that Manchester City will be where they are now?
Now, of course, a lot of money has taken it, but the players, I think this season, even when they've been under pressure, yes, they've had their problems at times with the manager, dissent towards the manager, but they've still put in good performances. And I think they will build on this. Will it be enough to keep Carlos Tevez at the football club? There's always been rumours that he wants to leave, but this was a big moment. Mancini showed faith in him by playing him from the start, and he repaid that faith by putting in a really good display.
Next target for Manchester City, overhauling Arsenal and finishing third. If you finish in the top three in the Premier League in England, it means an automatic place in the Champions League. Could be huge, that. Finish fourth and have to go in a playoff, you might have Bayern Munich or Valencia to negotiate.
There's going to be some big teams in that playoff. What a damn squid that would be if you lost in that qualifying round to get into the Champions League. They can still get into third. Arsenal are really going nowhere at the moment.
Carlos Tevez can't wait to get to the winners' podium. Premier League winner with Manchester United. I dare say right now this means a whole lot more.
Absolutely. The latest one always means the most, but at a club that haven't won anything for so long, he was held up as the new style of the football club, taken from Manchester United.
Now he gets the chance to lift the trophy again with the now traditional scenes of frenzied celebration from the players. If you've got any blue in your heart at all, tonight will be a long night for you.